Hi, welcome to Becoming a Cook. I'm Charlie Wetzel. Today I want to teach you how to cut, slice, and chop an onion. By the end of this, you're going to be able to chop an onion for any kind of recipe. You can do this with a paring knife, you can do this with a chef's knife. I'm using a chef's knife because that's what I'm used to. So I make a cut and then I actually pull the skin. I make another cut, and you have to be careful if you're going to do it this way with your thumb. And then you just want to catch the edge here and take this off. Now this is looking a little beat up, so I actually want to take another layer off. So I'm just going to make a very thin slit right here and just take this off. If you don't have a lot of experience with a knife, let me show you another way that maybe is going to be a little bit safer for you. Move that out of the way. So if you just work this way so that you're working over the cutting board and you don't quite go all the way through, give that a pull. Same thing on this end, not quite through, give that a pull. That just gets you an idea of what the onion looks like below that. And then you just want to cut through the one layer and then take this off. Obviously you don't want to waste, but you don't want any onion that doesn't look very good. All right, so let's chop an onion first. So if you look at an onion, like it's the globe, these are the poles, and this is the equator. When you chop, you go through the poles. You lay this down on one side, doesn't matter which side you're working from. And what you want to do is you want to make parallel cuts. I guess those would be like the lines of longitude. And you don't want to cut all the way through. So I'm just putting cuts parallel. When you get down to this part, bring your hand over to the other side so you don't cut yourself. And then you cut across. Now, the thing you need to learn is how to hold your hand. When I first started cooking, I was trying to chop fast and I had my fingers like this, and an experienced cook said, "You're going to chop your fingers off that way." And what he taught me to do was to roll my fingers this way so that the part that's sticking the farthest out is this knuckle, or these two knuckles. And you'll notice my pinky's back and my thumb is actually behind these other fingers. So when I hold this here, now the blade is actually riding on this knuckle. And I'm moving my hand back each time, just a little bit. And when you get down to this end part, it gets a little tricky. I haven't cut all the way through here. So what I do is I just lay this down, and I'm going to cut this into long strips. And then I'm going to give it a 90-degree turn and chop. So now I've got a chopped onion. Let me do the other half. When you do this, the closer you make these cuts, the finer it's going to be. So if you need to mince it, you need to put them really close. But if you're just chopping an onion, you can get to where you're pretty proficient at it. When you first start, don't worry about speed, just worry about safety and accuracy. So there's a chopped onion. Now, that's preparation number one. Most dishes call for a chopped onion. A sliced onion is just very, very simple. All you're doing, you're using the same technique with your fingers. You're just slicing through. And ideally, you don't want to do that. Ideally, you want to make these uniform as you chop them. You can see I'm missing a few of these. When you get down to here, if you hold your hand flat so the knife will pass under it, keep your thumb out of the way, you can slice them this way, as long as you keep your hands safe. When I get down to this part with these thick parts, I don't really like them thick. So what I'll typically do is just cut them so that they're in long pieces like this. All right, so that's slicing an onion. The last preparation that you're likely to ever do is to cut this way. This one you can see there's a little bit of a stem there, so I'm just going to remove that with an angled cut. So now that's gone. The other thing you're likely to do ever is if you can do this in strips this way. And you'll notice once again, I'm using this finger to keep me safe from the knife. Notice these knuckles are curved, and this thumb is very important to keep that thumb behind. So, if you need them in strips, that's the way you cut those. If you need them in slices or rings, those. And if you need them chopped. One thing I didn't mention was for that technique with your rolled fingers, you really need a chef's knife because the blade has to be wide enough. If it's a narrow blade, you're going to cut your knuckles. So that's how to chop an onion, slice an onion, and do strips. So you're ready to go.